On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I don't know. This was like one story, the thumbnail today, but I think it's a great story, and I do want to chit-chat a little bit about it. This power problem we've got in data centers and everything else, a lot of us are like, oh my God, China's building nuclear reactors everywhere. Why aren't we? We have 0 under construction, by the way, right now. But we have something else, and we're going to talk about that here coming up. That I think Trump was like miles ahead of this before he was first term in office. I think he started a lot of stuff. I think he's now reaping the rewards of some of the programs he started. We'll again talk about that. Got a lot of news though. Decent amount of things going on at this time. I think this week is going to heat up a little bit. I guess today's President's Day, so maybe a lot of you guys didn't even have to work. Fantastic if that's the case. Personally, my boss is a dick, so yeah, I had to work today. Nonetheless, President's Day is today. And for anybody who's like, well, who's your boss, Dan? I am. Yeah, kind of a jerk. Barack Obama has admitted to something here, but at the same time hasn't admitted to something here. And So read into it how you may. But I thought this was kind of significant.
So I want to do a little bit of a lightning round here because it's not often I'll get access to the President of the United States. So a couple questions here. Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
It is one of the biggest questions of all times. Now, again, what he said is, I think, a bunch of crap. And are they in Area 51 right now? No, probably not. And whether it's S4 or whether even, some other location at this point. And has it been restricted from presidents? Yeah, there's famous stories, actually, of I forget if it was Roosevelt or Nixon. I don't know. One of them guys was like, or it might have even been Kennedy, but somebody was like threatening the military. Like, I think it was Eisenhower. Right? If I say every president's name, I'm eventually going to get it. I think it was Eisenhower. Anyway, he threatened to send in the military. He's like, I will send the damn army in there. Or the Marines. I think it might have been. Again, the story's fuzzy, obviously, but there was a story where he was threatening to send the military forces into the base if he didn't let him go, which they did. Might very well have hidden some stuff. Many suspect that scene in Independence Day, when Paxton goes to the Area 51, and so a lot of crazy stuff. Well, who knows? Who knows? I do believe we're going to know a lot more soon, and I honestly think one of the problems, just based off of everything that's been playing out, not everybody's on that path. I actually think there's multiple paths right now, and some of us are on a different path, and I am very curious to see how this plays out. This is going to be interesting, and divisions are going to be interesting too. And I think we're all going to kind of get through one part of this together and then probably go our separate ways somehow. I don't know. It'll be interesting. There's a glove that's been found near Guthrie's home, or I can say Guthrie. Apparently pisses someone off very badly. Got a nice email. I guess it makes me sound stupid. So, Guthrie. I like it because it sounds kind of like German almost, but whatever. Guthrie, whatever the hell it is. I don't care, frankly. I don't follow either of these people. I think it's actually a stupid story. DNA is found near this person's home, matches the suspect on the doorbell video. The glove that's got DNA looks like the same glove. This is all this stupid story is. Very disappointed. They found the glove like 2 miles away from the home. A glove that looks just like the same nitrile glove that the dude's wearing. I have them in a box downstairs. Trump does say, though, if the kidnappers have, in fact, killed the grandmother, then he will insist that Pam Bondi pushes for the death penalty. So we'll see. Nobody knows what the hell's up. This whole thing's got a funk to it, man. I don't know what it is. There's a funk to this. It's just weird. Very weird. Very strange. Anyway. Strange story. I had to verify it because I was just like, is this even real? Usually it's like a Politico story or something, but they say stay indoors advisory for thousands of Americans as toxins linked to heart attacks fill the air. Residents in Michigan and the surrounding Great Lakes area, I guess, have been warned to stay indoors as there's a plume of dangerous toxins blanketing the ground, and I guess the fog and everything else is keeping it down on the ground, so anybody who goes out there is going to breathe it and die. This is almost like a COVID thing, kind of, right? But why here? Are they doing a test run on this? This is weird, right? I mean, it could be true. It's arguably one of the most polluted places in our country, but 2.5 PMs, whatever, parts per million, I guess, of these microscopic particles. You can't see them, but they're going to get you. Again, it's kind of a weird story, right? Now, again, the places pushing it are all the standard left-leaning nonsense, right? I thought this was MSN. Yeah, this is MSN. 3 states ordered indoor after urgent unhealthy air for all. Then Newsweek, it was probably the most legit of the sources that are sharing this. Daily Mail and, everyone under the sun. So millions warned to stay inside, close windows in Michigan. I think it's I don't know. I think it's a bullshit story, but I'm certainly curious. Any of y'all that live out in those areas, I mean, did they actually give this warning, or it's just a bunch of stupid stuff? We've got this story here. If you live in New York, you realize your city has been conquered. And for a lot of the Sharia-type people in the world, this is a great emblem for them, a great example of them taking over New York City. A giant plane crashes into the buildings in the background. Kidding. It's too soon, probably. Is it? I don't know. Might be.
Are you?
Whoa, people. Whoa. Here's the other sad part. They're saying some of these are starting at 5 a.m. in the morning. Oh, that's got to be lovely. Lovely. So glad we live there, aren't we? Paying some of the highest taxes. I think you guys actually have higher taxes than us here in California. Barely, but it's a neck and neck fight. We're each trying to outdouche the other. We'll see what happens. There's 2 states that are truly going bankrupt, and they're the biggest of the states, so we'll see it happen the quickest, most likely. Trump has cut off a lot of the funds. California's toast. We're bleeding to death. I'm sure New York's doing the same. Department of War, this is the story. The thumbnail. Today, the Department of War transported a next-generation nuclear reactor. This historic flight took place on a C-17 from California to Utah. They literally fit a nuclear reactor on an airplane. Now, granted, it's a big airplane, C-17, giant-ass airplane. It's not the C-5, I think. It's slightly smaller, but it's a big-ass airplane. They flew this thing to a new location where I guess they're going to be testing it. I think it's someplace out in Utah, some facility. But this might very well be our power fix. You almost got to wonder if there's any sort of Tesla technology anywhere baked into it, right? But who knows? That's total speculation. Doesn't even need to be true. But we've got these micro reactors. Well, China's building giant-ass eyesore reactors all over the place, which require a lot of cooling and a lot of crazy stuff. We're flying around stuff inside airplanes that we can power potentially cities with. And if we can get to a point where we can mass produce these, well, we could put them all over the place. And these data centers they could buy them themselves and thusly cheapen their power, raise their profits, and they can sell back any extra power back to the grid. This is probably likely what we as a sophisticated or more sophisticated technological country and society than all the other places, this would make sense, wouldn't it? That we've micronized it. We've made it so small that we can move these things around at will. I want to remind you guys of MyPillow. I haven't talked about MyPillow in a while. I need to. Mike's running for governor too, by the way, which is super cool. I don't know, he'll be on the show maybe once a month or something like that. We'll find out next time they reach out to me. It's usually the day of. They're like, so what time's Mike coming in today? It's like, oh, Lord. But mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. You're getting free shipping, guys. You got to take advantage of this. This is the one thing. I was just washing my pillow, and my sheets, but I washed the pillows specifically, which I hadn't really done yet. kind of weird maybe, but it washes awesome. It washes awesome. I have to tumble dry it. I'm pretty sure it's sitting right now on top of the dryer because I've got the sheets inside. I want to make sure they're good and dry, but the pillows are just washable. Like literally just threw it in the washing machine, done. Washed it on hot. I figure that helps, right? All the above. But it's just got like a film, like a fill inside that's totally waterproof, water resistant, doesn't matter. These pillows are incredible, and they're only $14.98. They almost hate the fact that I love these pillows so much, but it's the best damn pillow I've ever used. I was enjoying it last night while I was having some issues with sleep, but every time I put my head back on the pillow, I'm like, I do love this pillow. Just couldn't shut my mind up last night, that's all. They got toppers. They'll literally fold it up into a box somehow and mail that to you. These things are incredible. They'll talk about giving some life to your mattress, taking a shizzle mattress and making it even better. They're pretty awesome. Also, the Giza Dream Sheets, save over 50%, $29.98. That's amazing. These are the high thread count. These are the ones I use. I don't touch anything but the Giza Dream Sheets. That Giza cotton, they're so nice. Really nice colors. And again, deep pockets. It's just amazing sheets. Love them right there. These top products. And then the towel. They know what I love. They know what I love here. The towels are the best towels ever. Seriously. Try the towels. They literally dry. They're like what Bounty used to be. Now, I have Bounty downstairs. It does not quicker picker upper anymore. And Bounty is far cry from what it used to be. Bounty sucks. These towels, though, they actually are. They're what Bounty once was. They literally just, on my shower door, it's glass. I just wipe it and it's gone. It doesn't leave that smear where you got to go back a second time from the back, where it's dry. No. These towels are amazing. $34.98. You can't beat it. Free shipping. Seriously. We've got the Rev 7. Great energy. It's a great way to go. So if you guys are into energy drinks, they got the little itty bitty ones, which are fantastic. They're delicious. And the energy is surprising. And there's no crash or anything. Mike uses this stuff, and he's a former drug user, right? So all that said, again, premium pillows, save money. They got the slippers still going on with the spray to protect them if you want to wear them outside, and you certainly can. Look at the fuzz on these things. Look at the fuzz on these things. They're so awesome, right? Try to turn it good, but right? I'm not really model. Oh. Right. These things are amazing. They're stitched on the side. Just incredible. Incredible shoe. So again, you can wear them indoors, outdoors, upside down. It doesn't matter. They're going to be there for you. Maybe rock climbing, doubt it. Incredible. Towels, everything else. Go to, the socks. I've told you about the socks. We're leaving it right. We're stopping here, Dan. MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. Free shipping. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. Yes, indeed. Trump admin investigates school where trans athlete allegedly sexually assaulted a teen wrestler. This is interesting. It's up in Washington State, or Washington, as parts of our country would likely pronounce it. But this individual is a trans male and wrestling with females, and then literally sexually assaulted one of the females while wrestling her. That's sexual assault. No matter whether you're trans or not. If you got a banger and it's banging on something, then this is the problem, really. So needless to say, cops definitely are getting involved, and this will probably be another great case that will break open all sorts of, we've already got, I think, a second case going on with doctors that have, mutilated children, made changes that are unchangeable. And now we're getting to the bottom of a lot of this Title IX stuff. So this is going to be good. It's going to be good. Puyallup School District, of course, up there in Washington State. Also, pro-pedophile group is campaigning in Seattle to normalize adults being sexually attracted to children. And, you guys probably heard of the minor attracted children maps, I think they call them. Trying to make it sound like it's okay to be a criminal, right? I think it's okay that I'm attracted to stealing stuff every time I go into a grocery store, right? Like, this is a crime. You're attracted to children and then doing stuff with them oftentimes and grooming them even as children, as teachers. Like, you shouldn't be able to teach children if you're a minor attracted person. You should not be involved with minors at all, right? No Boy Scouts, no teaching. Hillary Clinton breaks with party lines, admits mass migration is disruptive and destabilizing. I don't know what happened. I think she lost her mind or something, or realized, because the true polling on this is just beyond, it's black and white. It's just like loud as it gets. whatever. But yeah, 19 seconds, you're like, oh my God, for 19 seconds, I damn near agreed with Hillary. Holy shiz.
I think we need to call it for what it is.
Secretary
There is
Clinton.
a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people.
You know how much strawberries cost? Or something. So yeah, for a moment, trust me, I got something coming up where you're going to be like, it's such a bitch. And the guy calls her out for it, so it's kind of cool. Apparently, leftists are installing unauthorized sirens across L.A. to warn illegals of ICE raids. It's going to be interesting. First off, these are a specific brand, it seems, which they don't look, I don't know, maybe they're kind of shielded, but whatever the case is, I would bet wouldn't be that hard to mess with them. Needless to say, they are doing this. They're going to make a lot of noise. They're extremely loud. It's going to annoy neighbors. They're going to complain. A lot of neighbors, 85% of people out there actually disagree with the noisemakers. So this is, again, more of that progressive people doing crazy progressive stuff that's pissing off everybody. Very few people support, or are going to be anyways, very soon, supporting what these crazy-ass people are doing. So it's fantastic. Now, this is, I feel bad, kind of, because students don't get it. They got these teachers and maybe even these crazy parents that are like, yeah, no, this is what we're supposed to do, right? And then when they do it and get in trouble because they go over the line and they don't realize there are consequences for activities, but I'm a student. You can't arrest me. It's like, yeah, no, totally. We have a specific jail for people like you. What are you talking about? You're going to go see some of your fellow friends. Here is a chick calling for her mommy as she's being arrested.
Student was arrested during an anti-ICE walkout at Enumclaw High School.
Yeah, Enumclaw, another friggin' Washington State place. Fuck.
In Washington. In the video, she can be heard saying, "I want my mommy," as officers detain her. Reports state she was interfering with police arresting another protester.
And there you go. So, yeah, your mommy hopefully will come talk to you. I'm sure they're probably crazy lefty progressive lunatics because they live up in Washington State. It's almost a guarantee. It's basically Portland on steroids. Trump administration launches investigation into Texas's Muslim-only community project. I don't know. I feel like they're not moving very fast. I feel like this got way further along than they ever intended. And by the way, this is Texas. Hot Wheels has been in charge the entire time this thing has been moving through. Paxton has been there the entire time this thing has been moving forward. Again, Texas, big place, I get you. But now all of a sudden they're like, oh no, we got to stop this, but we don't know how. Anyway, they're trying. They're going down this interesting approach. The Texas Workforce Commission is detailing a large-scale pattern of religious discriminatory conduct because they only hire people that are Islamic, which is illegal. That's how they're going to shut it down now. I don't know if that hurts your brain at all. It did me. Sounds like a California thing. I don't know. There is a bill that they're trying to push through. I don't think it has a chance in hell of getting through, but they're going to try to push it through. Maybe some of them agree, I hope. Assembly, especially if the elections get fixed. Some of these people, it's going to be interesting to see the ones that get what's happening and get out in front of it and realize that I've either got to try to win this election or I'm not going to win. But Assembly Bill 1835 here in California was put through by James Gallagher, someone we hear about, Republican from Chico. It's going to limit a state of emergency that a governor can declare to 90 days. Gavin Newsom took advantage of the COVID thing. He had one running from 2020 on to 2023. They don't want those kinds of things to happen, that essentially that the Congress of the state gets involved if it needs to be more than 90 days, and thusly they need to be involved in extending it. Now, again, can we buy off an entire Congress? Well, we've seen that happens, yes. But this is a neat idea of trying to hone in the power of the governor here in California. Federal court's going to decide Utah's redistricting fight. Utah's got a really, really weird thing going on right now. You guys are literally being taken over, like literally being taken over. And I don't mean this to sound bad, because I've a lot of friends that are LDS, so I've got mad respect for them, and I don't have any dislike. I think that I was brought up Catholic, so the religion's kind of strange to me, but I get it. I've read some of the book and whatnot. I get some of what it is. It's cool. Got nothing bad to say. Good people all the way across the board. The only thing that they do that freaks me out is they're almost always smiling. Really freaks me out. People that always smile, it's like, you're just happy all the time. It scares me a little. All that said, Mormons you gotta fix this shit, man. This is your state. You are known for owning this state. What is going on? Is there some sort of weird progressive thing that's getting into the LDS? You guys are one of the most conservative group of people on this planet. How is this happening? This redistricting thing, they're going to turn one seat into a Democrat seat, which has never happened. So they're infecting. Now, this map was actually created by the judges, which is not legal. It needs to be done legislatively. Somehow the judge decided which map they were going to use. So a lot of this is just very strange. And then they're also going to stack the courts now in Utah. So a lot of weird shit's going on in Utah. Utah's going through a really weird thing right now. And I think the stack in the courts probably to try to fix the problems that have crept up on them. But now that you've crossed that, are you going to unstack it once you figure out how to, again, oh man, whatever. Utah, get it straight, guys. Got a Utah Republicans reportedly secured the necessary signatures to proceed with Prop 4, which is supposedly going to overturn activist judges and stop a new Democratic congressional seat from forming. So the fight's happening. They got the signatures, probably thanks to the Mormons. Hopefully. But yeah, good job, guys. I hope. We need to certainly keep power heat on it, right? We need to keep, I don't even say ripple it per se. I mean, people in Utah are the ones that need to deal with this, but we should be aware of this stuff, you know what I mean? Kind of like everybody knows Colorado sucks, Maricopa County sucks, Fulton County sucks. Like, we know these counties' names because of 2020 and other stuff, apparently. Voting rights groups are suing to stop Ohio's new voter registration laws. Several voting rights groups, they don't like it. I think the Senate Bill 293, the League of Women Voters of Ohio and CARE Northern Ohio filed lawsuits Friday. Groups representing all sorts of civil liberties unions, just a bunch of people that aren't legal. And they're saying the new law violates the National Voter Registration Act, and the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Among other things, SB 293 ended a 4-day grace period for mail-in ballots postmarked by Election Day and created new guidelines for election workers regarding voter registration. Boom. Now, here's the thing. If you can't get it mailed in by Election Day, like before, if you're going to mail it and you can't get it in before the election, so it definitely shows up on Election Day, yeah, tough shit. No, I don't support it all. Waiting past Election Day is Election Day. At the end of that day, we should know who won. Period. None of this dragging it on out for as long as needed. And we've all watched in states as people that were progressive. Seattle's mayor, that race was not won legitimately. That was one that just kept going longer and longer, and that person kept just all of a sudden, all these weird mail-in ballots were showing up that were voting specifically for that person. What are the odds? When they totally lost as of Election Day, we've seen it in countless locations. That uber progressive locations right now have been doing this, and we're seeing it over and over. Mom Donnie, I think his election was like that too. I think it was. If not, I mean, it was because of Adams being there. He finally dropped out, and then we had what's-his-face, Cuomo, and the friggin' beret-wearing dude. Nah, there was no chance. They're pushing all the stuff. It's fun. It's good times, right? You guys are loving it. You're enjoying the movie, right? Apparently, we've got some contract updates going on. What is this department? FEMA. This is FEMA who's done this. FEMA's basically, long story short, they've saved immediate money, $1.4 billion, but overall, in time and distance, 5.1 billion over time, right? Like with contracts that extend out for years and whatnot. So they've saved us a decent chunk of money just in FEMA. $5 billion in FEMA. It's pretty good. Here is Lutnick. I've got two Lutnick things, and I'm not 100% sure how long this is. I'm going to speed it up to 1.25, or at least do my best to do that, and I think I can. Yeah, but Lutnick is talking in this case about our path to 6% GDP. This country is going to be booming. How everything goes, what happens through that process, the Federal Reserve, I don't know how this all comes together, but this is Trump doing what he needs to do. There is going to be some sort of calamity that I think is going to happen in other parts of the world that will probably hurt the world economy, which will likely affect us at that point. All that said, we're zooming along, and we're bringing stuff home, and we're manufacturing, and we're bringing in our own precious metals. We're doing all the right things, and I like Lutnick. Check it out.
And this administration, our objective is to rip all the software out of the United States American government and put in new software so that the next administration has the right answer to run the government properly.
So you threw out a huge number there, 6% GDP growth. Give us the path to get there.
Well, as I said, if imports are down and exports are up, that means when imports are down, we're consuming our own stuff, right? And exports growing, right? We've smashed down tariffs across the world, so now our people have the ability to sell their goods overseas, right? So those two things together, and then you bring that in with construction. I mean, I went to a groundbreaking of a $100 billion mega fab to build high bandwidth memory in Syracuse, New York. Now, this will give you a good idea of how this works. Why would someone build a $100 billion semiconductor factory? This is not the data center. This is like literally making the chips that go in the data center. $100 billion factory, 40,000 construction jobs, 25,000 people going to work in that high-tech factory going forward, and these are technical jobs. Why would you build it in Syracuse? Syracuse, like the basketball team, we used to see when they were great, they'd play in the Carrier Dome, right? Because there was a big industrial complex, GE was there, Carrier was there, and they all left. But what didn't they leave? They left these hulking old factories that need to be torn down, but they had stranded power, right? If you think about all these communities, they had paper mills, they had steel factories, they had all this power that no one's now using. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the revitalization, the resurrection of all these communities because they built the power once upon a time, and that power is sitting there kind of cheap, like the Geico money. You know, it's kind of staring at people saying, cheap power, cheap power. And you're going to see these communities come back to life. And it's beautiful, because let's face it, when we went and did a groundbreaking for a $100 billion factory in Syracuse, I don't think they'd seen anything. I think they'd only heard the sucking sound of everybody leaving. I don't think they ever saw the fact that there's going to be monstrous amount of trust. And by the way, just for a little fun, what did we have to do as the Trump administration to get that factory built? Besides negotiating with Micron, besides changing the terms of the Biden administration CHIPS Act, which they had messed up completely, and all that kind of stuff, they had, theoretically, a bat, I'm not kidding, you can't make this stuff up, okay? A bat habitat in the trees in this forest. And I'm like, well, can you prove there's a bat habitat? No. Because I didn't know bats have habitats that live in the trees, so we attacked the science, which was, of course, bullshit. And then they built a $100 billion factory. But can you imagine there are people saying, I want to protect the bats in these trees rather than employing 40,000 construction workers and 25,000 Americans to drive the proper growth of America and build semiconductors in America. It's an illogical set of thoughts by the Democrats. It's just illogical. It's contrary to the interests of the people of America in exchange for anybody else. And I think that's what the Trump administration is here to address, that we want to put Americans first, we want to get Americans in the job, we want to build and reshore our manufacturing and be who we were meant to be, which is the greatest country on earth with the greatest economy on earth because we have the greatest people on earth.
So I want to get into manufacturing.
Yeah, we are freaking awesome is what it comes down to. And not just like crawl up our own ass is awesome. We've demonstrated it countless times. If there was something impossible that needed to be done, we do it. We always have. I would say that arguably Russians are very similar to us. That's why they've always historically been our best friends and why they will become so again. For any people out there that don't understand that. But Russians are very can-do. They accomplish. They're maybe a little more gruff about it, if you will. But the Russians they're beautiful people. So we've got a lot of love that's got to come back together a little bit on this planet. I was kind of curious where crypto ended up at this point. So we were down a little bit on Bitcoin. Always curious about that one. Still sitting around 67. That seems to kind of be its new little area where it's chilling. XRP up a teeny bit. Almost a cent. 1 penny. It's woo. Let's see what else we got. Stocks up a little. Nope, stocks pretty flat. Nasdaq down a teeny bit. Gold's down a little bit. Silver's down a little bit. We're sitting at the 5,000 mark with gold. Silver's sitting at 76. Again, I'm happy. If I were you guys, I'd seriously be trying to take advantage of this lull in the storm because it's going to explode, especially as stuff starts getting a little crazier. Tariffs with China and the silver with them. Just a lot going on in these paper contracts. So we'll see how it plays out. Look, if you've got a 401k or an IRA, highly recommend you look at going to my good friends at Goldco. They are going to help you move that over tax-free, penalty-free. That's the trick. If they give it to you in any way, shape, or form ever, you're getting paid out. The second they do that, it's now taxable money. And if you take it early, it's penalized on top of that, which I don't know. The penalty thing is stupid. It's not even like taxes. They're just like, yeah, you're penalized. I got to send it straight to the government, right? The people that are sitting on your money. It's pretty messed up. It's not just like, I'm not going to pay it. You kind of have to. So DRSlikesGold.com. Get as much of that money moved over tax-free, penalty-free. What you're doing is you're protecting your buying power. I've explained it a bunch. I don't want to overdo it today. But you're protecting the buying power of the cash as of the second you transfer it over. That is the buying power you're protecting. Whether it happens tomorrow, whether it happens 3 weeks from now and some crazy inflationary thing occurs, right? That's just loss of buying power. Careful. Now, they're going to give you up to 10% free silver. Silver's the multiplier. Silver's a beautiful thing. The expectations of silver's price is conservative, super conservative, in fact, is probably around $200 at the end of the year. We're sitting at 76 right now, which is awesome. It broke 115. It'll get back. Don't worry. But a lot of things are happening, and they didn't like the price going that high. And once it gets high enough, it starts making a lot of sense to start mining here locally. They don't want that to happen either. So again, the deep state's freaking out. Be ahead of it. Protect your wealth. DRSlikesGold.com. DRSlikesGold.com. Now, there is also another cool deal they got going on just for this month, and it ends at the end of February. So I don't know if I've made a big enough mention of that. But they've got, if you've got cash, and I'm reasonably sure it's over 10 grand easily. But if you've got cash and you want to get some precious, this is definitely sweet. They're going to give you up to 10% in free gold or silver. They're going to give you free storage and a free safe. They're actually going to send a safe to you, which is pretty crazy. Now, it's probably a somewhat smaller safe, but still they're very heavy and it's locked. And again, kind of works and possibly fireproof. I don't know. You can ask questions about it. But there's a great offer that they're offering up for you guys. So if you come in at cash, you're going to get up to 10% in free gold or silver. And you're going to get some free storage and free safe. So check it out. Take advantage. Always fun to get some extra stuff when you're going through the process. So get some precious metals, and you will be happy you did because you're, again, protecting buying power. If you got some cash just kind of sitting in the bank and you don't really need it, or you've got some extra and you'd like to protect it as buying power, which is essentially going to be the backbone of our new treasury notes at some point, or treasury coins or whatever, they're all going to be backed by coins. So if you've got the precious metals already, then you're already that step closer towards our new currency. DRSlikesGold.com, DRSlikesGold.com. Get out of their system, or at least try to protect as much of your money and wealth as you can while their system implodes around their stupid, fat faces. Yeah. This is actually pretty good. It talks about ultra-processed foods. And normally I would probably go, this is too long because, you know, I'm a dork like that. But I think the information that they share in here with the ultra-processed foods, how it's affected us, and I'm going to be honest, I'm gonna put on the feel great thing, and we're going to mention it after. It's not meant to be two back-to-back commercials. This is literally an awesome news story, and this is what's happening. This explains why this product works so well. I've been saying it, the chemicals and all the crazy stuff. I'm just telling you, this is a really well done news article, and I really wish they'd bring Alice Tang back. I miss Alice. I'm going to go on a starvation diet if you don't bring Alice back. NTD News. All right, got it out of my system.
And ultra-processed foods are under scrutiny by the Trump administration. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saying the government will act on a petition calling for closer scrutiny.
That's right, but the health secretary did stop short of promising new regulations. NTD's Daniel Monahan has more on that.
The FDA will consider a petition to revoke the safety status of dozens of processed refined carbohydrates. That is, unless food companies can prove they are safe and not contributing to health issues and obesity. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says something has gone wrong in the United States food supply, speaking on CBS's 60 Minutes.
And we're seeing in our population people who are obscenely obese and at the same time malnourished.
The health secretary says 70% of Americans are either obese or overweight.
And it's not because they got indolent or because we became lazy or because we suddenly developed giant appetites. It's because we're being given food that is low in nutrition and high in calories, and it's destroying our health.
The petition targets the so-called GRAS loophole, which was enacted by Congress in 1958. It has allowed the use of ingredients without a full government safety review because it lets food companies verify the safety of those items without oversight.
That loophole was hijacked by the industry, and it was used to add thousands upon thousands of new ingredients into our food supply. In Europe, there's only 400 legal ingredients. This agency does not know how many ingredients there are in American food.
Former FDA Commissioner David Kessler is behind the petition. He previously called out tobacco industry practices in the 1990s. He says the United States has been exposed to something over the last 40 years that our biology was never intended to handle.
Energy-dense, highly palatable, rapidly absorbable, ultra-processed foods that have altered our metabolism and have resulted in the greatest increase in chronic disease in our history.
Some diseases Kessler cites are type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, hypertension, abnormal lipids, fatty liver, heart attack, stroke, and heart failure.
They took starch, right? Those cheap, easy calories, and they converted those into a whole panoply of ingredients that it was able to reassemble. And those products are so rapidly absorbed in our system that they cause metabolic havoc. They target the brain reward circuits to keep us coming back for more. They trigger overeating.
Kessler says such reassembled ingredients in ultra-processed foods deprive people of any sense of fullness.
Those calories are not just empty, they're ending up in your liver. And that fat in your liver is going to migrate into other organs, and it's the cause of cardiometabolic disease.
The Consumer Brands Association says there's no agreed-upon scientific definition of ultra-processed foods. It says companies adhere to what it calls rigorous evidence-based safety standards to deliver what it calls safe, affordable, and convenient products. Meanwhile, former boxing heavyweight champion Mike Tyson had some advice for people to combat chronic disease and obesity, telling them to walk more and to be active.
And as time goes on, you do more and more, and you be more consistent with it. And it's not about how much you do, it's about the consistency.
Health Secretary Kennedy has stopped short of saying he would call for more government regulations. He says the government's job is to make sure the public is informed so everybody understands what they're getting. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Boy, that guy's just a ball of fun, isn't he? Ball of fun, Daniel. You're awesome. Where's Alice Tang? Bring her back. I'm not going to eat again until she comes back. I don't really mean that. Alice, I like you, though. Come on back, Earl. All right. Anyways. Yeah, guys, so all the things that we're talking about, by the way, and again, I saw the video, and I'm like, that's like everything in my commercial. Snacking, overeating, weight control, fatty liver, insulin resistance, diabetes, literally erectile dysfunctions tied to this, gut health, cholesterol, triglycerides, fatigue, depression, systemic inflation, metabolic syndrome, and a panoply word he said and stuff. I love playing that game. It's my favorite game. Got to get Baltic Avenue or whatever. I always play Panoply. I know it's different. Sorry. That person's probably going to email me again. Dan, you sound stupid. All right, whatever. Not the first time. Guarantee I'll sound stupid again. You watch. I'll find new ways to sound stupid. It's what I do. Senator Rand Paul unveils a bill to end nationwide liability protection for vaccine manufacturers. He's pissing me off because he keeps trying to do things to get himself some good press, even though he's an asshole. He's a asshole capable of licking his own self. That's what he is. That's what he is. That's what he is. That's actually a pretty good analogy. That might stick with you, Rand Paul. An asshole that can lick itself. I'm going to think about that one a little bit. I kind of like it. Cartels flew 42,000 drones near the U.S. border in fiscal year 2025. This is out for a couple of reasons. One, they're trying to say, look, we got a lot of drones that are messing with our airspace frequently. Typically, they don't come into our airspace, but they frequently do. It seems they found some bombs and crazy stuff like that. Now, I am going to point out something. This is all I got, okay? There was 2 stories that were put out that they used this new laser weapon on balloons that was put out by Axios and the Wall Street Journal. Okay? Everybody ran with it. I've ignored it. Thank you very much. I'd pat myself on the back, but it might hurt. This is what they do. And then I saw in the New York Post version of it, they said sources say. They didn't even get into anything. They just stayed away from it altogether. Or it was like it was worded funny. It wasn't sources. It was something to the effect. It was reportedly. That's what it was. Reportedly was the word in the story that suggested somebody said something. Reportedly. They don't even care about the sources anymore. And it was the New York Post that posted it. I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. I see it all the time, though. So be careful. That's where the whole laser thing came from. Those 2 sources. Try to teach you guys how to walk these waters, man, because we're going to get lied to, and AI is going to be so gnarly trying to get to be able to figure shit out. Marco Rubio had a very long speech when he was in Europe. This is kind of cool. And they tried to turn the prime minister of Slovak, I think, against us. And they asked him a weird question. His answer was reasonably good. He had a chance. He could have been a dickhole. And then Marco has an opportunity to sort of poo-poo the press for such questions. He's in Europe. I love it. I love this dude. I love our administration right now. I swear to God, everyone is so good, and I just can't wait to keep seeing what they do day after day. These guys, watching them, where it's better than any sporting event I've ever watched. Marco Rubio's like just awesome as hell, you know? And then Pete Hegseth and the crazy shit he keeps doing. And what else? We got a bunch of these guys. Pam Bondi, even though everyone hates her ass. Kristi Noem, everyone hates her ass. I love it. This is fun. And then Trump. Papa Daddy. Here's Marco telling Europe kind of goodbye. Not really. He's like, come on, guys. Come on. But basically,
we are part of one civilization, Western civilization. We are bound to one another by the deepest bonds that nations could share, forged by centuries of shared history, Christian faith, culture, heritage, language, ancestry, and the sacrifices our forefathers made together for the common civilization to which we have fallen heir. And so this is why we Americans may sometimes come off as a little direct and urgent in our counsel. This is why President Trump demands seriousness and reciprocity from our friends here in Europe. The reason why, my friends, is because we care deeply. We care deeply about your future and ours. And if at times we disagree, our disagreements come from our profound sense of concern about a Europe with which we are connected, not just economically, not just militarily. We are connected spiritually, and we are connected culturally. We want Europe to be strong. We believe that Europe must survive. Because the 2 great wars of the last century serve for us as history's constant reminder that ultimately our destiny is and will always be intertwined with yours.
I hope this isn't 2 years old. 24? I don't know what that is. This is 26. Anyway, I was under the impression this was recent, but still nonetheless, yeah, Europe is...
we are part of one civilization.
Recently, I don't know what this BR20, maybe it's the 24th version of this stupid... Anyway, whatever. Who knows? It's Europe. Maybe they're on the metric system for years. Yeah, they don't have one. I'm just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Oh, how many emails already got fired off? I'm pausing it right now. God damn it. Here's where the Prime Minister from Slovak, he gets asked a weird question. I'm going to go ahead and play it, even though it's hard to understand him.
Let me just make one more point, because I think you asked him a question in order to
Oh, I thought this was... Hang on. Let's make sure I don't necessarily go out of order, because I did kind of cue that up in a bad way, I guess. But I thought... Yeah, this is... No. Okay. Yeah, I guess I lost that somehow. That was a good job. Yeah, I'm going to give myself points for that. Anyway, whatever. He was mad at him. I guess I took the post out because it was kind of long. Maybe it was a smart move. All said, here's Rubio's response to them asking a question that was meant to be divisive, essentially calling them fuckers. I just wanted to say it.
Let me just make one more point, because I think you asked him a question in order to see if you can get him against us with something about, oh, you criticize. A lot of countries didn't like what we did in Venezuela. That's okay. That was in our national interest. I'm sure there's something he'll do one day that we don't like, and we'll say, hey, we didn't like you did this. So what? That doesn't mean we're not going to be friends, we're not going to be partners, we're not going to be able to cooperate with one another. Countries express their opinion all the time. We have very close allies that didn't like what we did in that regard. I can tell you what, it was successful. We're proud of it. It was necessary, because the guy was a narco-terrorist, and we made him a bunch of offers, and he chose to tore them out. And look what's happened in Venezuela in the 6 weeks since he's been gone. Okay, now it's got a long way to go. There's still much work that needs to be done, but I can tell you Venezuela is much better off today than it was 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's way the hell better off, right? So, yeah, we, and again, just because we did something you don't like, or you did something we don't like, doesn't mean I still don't want to see a naked European country. Just saying. Boobies. Okay. Putin envoy comments on Rubio's "we care deeply about EU" claim. They're like, it's kind of cool. U.S. cares, this is what he posted. He says, U.S. cares deeply and tries to prevent EU bureaucrats from destroying Western civilization. But EU bureaucrats are highly focused and skilled at destroying it through false narratives, migration, warmongering, and economic decline. It's unclear who wins. It looks like they got a picture like over the top or something with Slashed Alone. And I don't know who, I never watched that movie. I was always a huge arm wrestling fan. I used to be on the circuit myself, but no, kidding. I have no idea what the hell. So yeah, here it is. Apparently I just put it in the wrong place, because that was well done. It's a minute 46. Like I said, it's too long, and his accent's kind of tough. But yeah, they asked him a shit question, basically. Holy crap, they say. A Czech politician, he called out Hillary Clinton to her face. Czechoslovakian, yes. To her face. Again, I told you earlier, Hillary Clinton, like 13 seconds or whatever it was, said something, you're like, oh my God. For like 13 seconds. Oh my God. Whoa. Like poking my eyes out, What was that Greek god? The one, he saw ended up getting with his mom or whatever it was. Poked his eye. Anyway. My Greek mythology is a little rusty right now, frankly. It's okay. Not too many times where it's really come in handy. Anyway, here's a Czech politician kind of putting Hillary, or checking. Here's a Czech politician checking Hillary. I like that for you hockey fans.
He has betrayed the West. He's betrayed human values. He's betrayed the NATO Charter, the Atlantic Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. A lot of what has been done before to try to make sense of how difficult it is to restrain people who want unaccountable power. And none of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does, except that's who Trump is modeling himself after.
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
You know, that is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
What I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So, you know, we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution.
He was going down the path. He's like, I'm going to list you off about 42 different things, 47 different things, or 17 different things. Whatever. Dan said 17. You mean Q? Q. YouTube, by the way, is starting to, for any of you guys watching on YouTube, yeah, they've been cutting stuff after the effect. They'll literally make one of my videos unshowable anywhere where I have to get rid of. And so far, it's been stuff critical of the British government. Interestingly, they don't like. I think I'm on the radar for my Starmer stuff. I think I am. Again, I lost funding from a British company. Wise is the name of the company. Not so wise. They're unwise, in fact. So, Starmer and England in general seems to kind of dislike my channel and me specifically. So I've been attacked by them a few times. So nonetheless, they don't like it when I play stuff that's critical of Starmer. It's going to cause wrinkles there, Care Bear stare. Shomo. Netanyahu. He's talking about demilitarizing Gaza, so he's going to drop bombs and kill everybody that's left. No, I don't think that's quite what he says, but what he wants to say.
First, disarm Hamas, and second, demilitarize Gaza. What does that mean? They still have tunnels there. We dismantled about 150 kilometers of 500 kilometers of tunnels. We have to complete the job. That means also that you can't hide weapons labs or other facilities that they use to rearm themselves, regroup, and reform, which they're trying to do.
Yeah. So he's looking for a reason to do more killing. Trump's like, hey, no more killing. There's probably other ways this can be handled, but I don't think he wants to. And I think he's kind of, again, Trump grabs people and puts them out front. There we go. Paying attention now. Trump grabs and puts them out front. And I think that's what's happening. And again, is there a better person if you're going to need the military stuff going on at the moment? And I would say, yeah, probably. And then if you think about it also, I mean, the Alfred Pike stuff's been brought up a few times lately, and it's just like, morals and dogmas, I guess, is like the people's book of choice, if you will, the Masons. So all that said, we are in a place right now where the three Abrahamic religions, this is what Israel is. It's the land that we basically took, Belfort Accord, because it was a significantly holy land. Three different major world religions that they're trying to get to fight each other for the most part exist in that one area. Because of that is really what's at stake. Now, there's a lot of people that believe prophecy has to happen. A lot of people that believe, I don't want that to happen. There's a lot of different people coming at this from different angles, right? So it's very interesting, in my opinion. Again, we're at end times. We're at changing times, really, is what it is. Transition times. It'll differ depending on which path people are on. But we are on a time frame that's crunching down, and we're going to see things happen. People are going to have choices, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the world is not going to get blown up. That's not happening. People that believe that needs to happen might experience a form of that, but it won't be this fifth density world that's moving forward. This planet's continuing forward. On a higher density, there's not going to be any more negative service to self-consciousness on this planet. There's not going to be any more of that type of stuff. It's going to change, and that's cool. It's what we need, and it's a big part of what's happening. I think not trying to get too woo, but I think there's been a lot of directives given to this planet, and it's like, look, you either get control, and so that's why ending of wars is the most important thing. There's a lot of that happening. This planet needs peace. It needs to be peace. It's one of the biggest problems with our people is we're so quick to shoot first, ask questions later, and that's not a good way to meet people you've never met before, right? And you're like, oh, shucks, killed another stranger. Like, that's not a good way to meet people, right? So we got to be careful. India's maybe going to start replacing Russia oil with Venezuelan oil. China can't buy it. We won't let them. India, we're like, yeah, no, you guys can buy it. You want some? And they're like, we'll take some. It sounds cheap. So we'll see. They're doing some deals with India. I feel like we're trying to stay close to them. There's a lot of stories coming out that people suggest that China's population is closer to 500 million, sorry. Yeah. No. Yeah, 500 million than initially thought. That India is possibly the only place that literally has some legitimate huge-ass numbers. In fact, Mexico's, I think, got more than 500 million. So China's numbers may have changed. And I, again, think that a lot of this was because they were supposed to... The Albert Pike thing was that 13/14ths of the planet would die, and that there'd be roughly about 500 million Chinese. And I think China thinned down their ranks. They're like, yeah, this is what was supposed to happen. We did our job. We killed everybody. We killed 700-800 million people, they're thinking. And we had heard stories how they were doing burn buildings and stuff, and they were portably moving them in during COVID. You guys remember that? The number, and by the way, they say that was the highest Christian population was Wuhan. They think it was tied to the cell towers. Again, they were saying millions of people. They literally just smoked a whole. I mean, I don't know. That sounds so hard to believe for me, frankly. I'll be honest. That's I feel like that have to get leaked out. But China's really amazing about keeping stuff indoors. I just don't know. Moscow repels another large-scale Ukrainian drone attack. I think they sent hundreds, 400 drones, 100 drones, I don't know, 128. All right, that number. A bunch of them went there. None of them made it, I guess. This war continues. From what we understand, I think Moscow or Russia is losing 8,000 troops a week, dying. And Ukraine's just not doing that well either. This is stupid. Ukraine, the land that they're taking is land you want the land, but you don't want the people there. But it was already their land. You guys were shelling these people because they were pro-Russia. So you guys don't get to say anything. I think down the road it won't matter, but Russia seized a dozen Ukrainian villages in February, so they've expanded, but slowly. Again, it's winter, but it helps both sides, kind of, but it's hard. Again, we got crazy going on. Apparently, Zelensky's ally was arrested trying to flee Ukraine. He got busted at the airport. A deep corruption probe. This was like the Treasury guy or something to that effect. Oh, energy minister, sorry, which, yeah, would make total sense, right? Roscom and all that stuff with the Bidens. The walls are closing in. These people are getting captured. And the war can go on, sure, but we're busting these people. We're going to question them. We're going to find out what happened. This screams of Trump. These guys were directly tied in with Hillary, Biden's, Obama's, probably McCain, likely Graham. Oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait till Lindsey Graham is exposed. It's going to be such a happy day. Such a happy day. But yeah, these corruption probes are starting to snap up a lot of people. Lutnick says, we're not going to let Chinese humanoid robots into this country. This is kind of cool. I don't know. We'll play a few minutes. I'm going to speed this up too. Check it out.
Things. So how broad do you see the reshoring agenda?
So the opportunity is that manufacturing is being automated. And automated manufacturing is perfect for America, right? We don't have 1 billion people, right? So we're going to think we need to be a higher tech kind of thought so that we can work the way this is working. So this is coming to us. I think There are some things that should be made overseas. Sandals, cheap t-shirts. We're cool with that. Well, let's be clear, we're cool with that being made overseas, okay? But, you know, you can do enormous amount of manufacturing domestically once you think about what is possible now with computer-based and advanced-based robotics manufacturing. And people say, oh, robots. The humanoid robots that will probably work in your house someday, that's a different thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about, close your eyes and just think of a modern auto plant, you know, with the arm that goes out and drills like that. That's the kind of robotics, right? It's robotic arms doing stuff. The concept of robots and humanoid robots, we're not going to let Chinese humanoid robots into this country. Just like we're not going to let Chinese electric vehicles into this country. You got to realize, if you take a Chinese battery powered car, they can just turn it off. Right. They all have like a call daddy button, right? And a call daddy button means turn it off. So if you're buying like solar panels, and you know we have conflict with China, and they just turn off your solar field, and you don't have power, that sucks. So, you know, people need to think through if you could potentially be adversarial. We need to make our pharmaceuticals here. Like, before I took this job, if you opened my medicine cabinet, I don't think I had a branded pharmaceutical, right? Because everybody says, okay, this is the generic version of this and the generic version of that. You know, all those generic versions, they're all made in China. You know, if we were adversarial, what makes you think you're getting them, number one? And if you got them, what makes you think during your adversarial moment you're willing to take this pill? Right. Here you go. You say, no thanks. So we need to make that here. And that means you have to go down all the ingredients to make sure each and every ingredient is made here. And so this is my job. My job is I go down to every line item and say, okay, where are we with this? Where are we with this? Where are we with this? Where are we on every critical mineral? I'm back in 11th grade chemistry class, just where I wanted to be. I get the periodic table out, I get the heavies and the lights. Like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I took chemistry in college because all my friends wanted to be pre-med. And like after the first semester, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I can't stand this stuff. So I was hoping I wouldn't have to do the elements again, but here I am, back doing, you know, yttrium. But the answer is, these are key ingredients, and we cannot rely on an adversary to do key ingredients. And we have to have a nice mix of us and our allies doing it, but it can't be adversaries. Because the adversaries weaponize it. And they did already. Like, you heard about this concept of magnets, right? They put magnets in cars, and the average cost of a magnet in a car is $20. They sell it by the pound. It's a $55 a pound. This isn't like high tech. This is $55 a pound, $20 in a car. But it's like me giving you a really cool bookcase for Christmas, and I don't give you the Allen wrench. It costs $1 to put it together, right? So they said, well, I'm not sending you the magnets, and they make them all. It's like not sending you the key to the car. You can't run the car. So I thought that was a great advantage, because woke us up and said, you got to fix that. And this administration is not, I'm doing everything we can for these 4 years. And the whole administration is working together to do everything it can over these 4 years to get all those choke points off of our neck.
So speaking of waking up, one thing that was a huge...
Yeah, choke points, exactly. So we're moving in the direction that we need to. Things are about to get crazy. For any of you guys that follow Daytona 500, Michael Jordan's team actually won. It's kind of crazy. California team, apparently, which is strange. Jordo was obviously a big Chicago player, but nonetheless, and a golfer and a baseball player. No, not baseball. That was Bo, right? Yeah, it was Bo. Anyway, they won. That was a bunch of nonsense for nothing. Hideki, Sato, I guess. Hideki, Sato. I don't totally know how to pronounce it. Anyway, he was the designer of Sega and all their consoles and everything. Like, he is the dude. He is the Sega guy. He died, 75 years old. Very sad. Probably all the time in front of that energy. You know, those things beamed on, turned on. 2 high-profile transgender surgery cases are heading to trial. This is kind of interesting. We've already had one case, and this is stemming from that. Because of that one case, we've now got 2 more.
And 2 high-profile detransitioner lawsuits are now headed for trial in early 2027. Chloe Cole received hormones and a double mastectomy at the age of 15. She's set for trial in April of next year. She's suing Kaiser Foundation hospitals and other providers saying she suffered irreversible harm. Kaiser has previously said it followed medical standards of what it called gender-affirming care. Attorney Mark Tremmel of the Center for American Liberty represents Cole and Luca Hain. Hain was a separate case against the University of Nebraska Medical Center, as well as others. The case is built on last month's $2 million jury verdict in New York for Fox Varian. A surgeon and psychologist were found liable in that ruling for malpractice. One example was laid out in an October 2019 letter the psychologist wrote to the surgeon in support of Varian's surgery. It contained errors as well as omitted coexisting mental issues, including autism as well as depression.
Yeah, depression all over the place. I'm over here trying to text somebody. I'm such a retard. I swear to God, I don't know how I've made it this far in life. Inside the widening Olympic curling controversy and allegations of cheating. England and Canada have cheated a bunch. Curling's, I don't know, it's weird. They call the thing a stone, first off. It's like a big puck or some shit. Whatever. And then they like sweep it. And then curling, I don't know where the curl part came, whatever, just because they're gay, so their hair's curly. I don't friggin' know. I could look it up. I don't particularly care. It's a big deal to Canada. Honk, honk, love you guys, whatever. Weird-ass sport. You guys have Boxing Day. Yeah, all that said, these guys have been double tapping. Tap, tap. Tappity tapping. They're double tapping. You ain't allowed to do that straight very much in the rules. And they're like, well, we don't even realize we're doing it. In fact, if you tell me I'm doing it, I wouldn't even know. But they're like, we didn't do it over and over. I didn't do it over and over. And then just like, oh, well, here's video of you tapping it. And they're like, well, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Prove that was me. He's like, here's a wide version of the same thing. He's like, yeah. Well, Hillary Clinton told me to do it. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, on your mark, get set, go, Iceman. Yeah, they're kind of in a controversy, and I feel bad for you, Canada. Like, this is your thing. It's kind of like New Zealand was sailing. When we beat them in sailing, that was just not cool because they are the sailors. Think about it. They're furthest away from everybody. They're like, ocean's all we got. So yeah. The curlers are going to continue with the perms. Whatever. Gayness. Oh, you guys are lucky. You didn't have to see my stupid face. All that said, I love you guys, and we're going to continue. We've got more. I don't know. Every day. It's like a trip. I can't believe how much crap happens in a day. It's fun to talk about, though. I hope you guys keep joining me. Hit the thumbs up if you can. Subscribe, all that fun stuff. Make sure, anyways. We are going to continue rocking and rolling, though. And I think Iran's something I'm wondering about it. They're making a weird noise about it. The elections are all that matter to me in the big picture. And I mean, honestly, Epstein's kind of fun. Stuff that's coming out of that. You guys may be following some people that are getting real heavy, deep into that. It's cool. I appreciate that. All said, we are changing the world. And you guys are a part of it. This is the best time to be alive is right now. You guys are a part of it. Be the ripples. Be what you are. I know what you are. Do it. Be it. See it. Do it now. Get in the chopper. I love you guys. Where we go one, freaking go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.